Welcome to Lucky English for Beginners.
And welcome to a very special deep dive. We are tackling something that I think causes a lot of stress for English learners everywhere.
Oh, absolutely. That big, scary exam.
The IELTS exam, and specifically the speaking part.
Yeah, that's the one. It's where you can't hide behind grammar rules or a dictionary. It's just you and the examiner.
And today we're focusing on a way to really stand out. We're talking about idioms.
Idioms.
Yeah.
They're the secret spice of the English language.
What's spice? I like that analogy.
Well, think about it. You can make a meal with just the basic ingredients, and it's fine. It's food.
Keep you going.
Exactly. But it's not memorable. It's not delicious. Idioms are the salt, the pepper, the things that make the listener, in this case the examiner, sit up and think, wow, this person can really speak English.
They're not just translating in their head.
That's the key difference. It shows you're thinking in the language. But, and this is a huge but,
I feel a warning coming.
you can definitely ruin the soup by adding way too much salt.
Right. The idiom trap. I'm so worried about this. I've heard you can actually lose points if you use them badly.
You can, and you will, if you just memorize a list and force them into your answers. It sounds completely unnatural. It sounds robotic.
Like you're reading from a script.
Precisely. So today's session is all about learning to use them naturally. We'll have a sort of casual conversation, hitting on common IELTS topics.
Okay, like education, work, things like that.
Exactly. And when the moment is right, I'll introduce an idiom that fits perfectly. I'll explain it, we'll look at an example, and then you have to try and use it.
Oh, wow. Okay, pressure's on.
No pressure. This is a safe space.
Yeah.
If you make a mistake with grammar or pronunciation, just gently correct it. The goal is to build confidence.
Okay, I'm ready. A little nervous, but ready.
Perfect. Let's start with a really common area in the exam, especially in part 3, giving opinions and making decisions.
Ah, yes. The do you think questions.
Exactly. They'll ask you something like, in your opinion, is it better to study abroad or to study in your home country? What's the first thing most students say?
I think?
I think, or in my opinion.
Which is fine, right? But maybe a bit boring if you say it 5 times.
It's more than boring. It's a missed opportunity. Here's our first idiom. It's a fantastic, slightly more formal way to open your answer.
From my perspective.
From my perspective, okay.
It just elevates the language immediately. It doesn't just mean I think. It suggests that you are looking at the topic from your specific viewpoint and you acknowledge that other viewpoints might exist.
Ah, so it sounds more thoughtful.
Exactly. It's more analytical. For instance, you could say, from my perspective, online education is highly beneficial.
Okay, that does sound much more academic than just saying, I think it's good.
It really does.
Yeah.
Now you try using that question about studying abroad.
Okay, from my perspective, studying abroad is better for language learning. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. That's band 7 opener right there. It sets a confident, intelligent tone for your entire answer.
Wow. Okay. I like that one. But what if? What if I genuinely don't know? Sometimes the examiner asks a question and my mind just goes blank.
That is a very, very common problem. And the worst thing you can do is just say, I don't know.
Because it just kills the conversation.
It kills the day. But there's an amazing idiom for that exact feeling of uncertainty. When you're stuck between two choices, you can say, I'm in 2 minds about it.
I'm in 2 minds, like I have 2 brains arguing with each other.
That's the image. One mind says yes, the other says no. It shows the examiner that you understand the complexity of the issue. You're not just giving a simple answer.
So you're turning your hesitation into a high-level answer.
You're scoring points for being undecided. For example, I'm in 2 minds about studying abroad. On the one hand, it's exciting, but on the other, it's very expensive.
Okay, let me try. If the question is about choosing a major for university,
Good one.
I am in 2 minds about choosing.
Yes, that's it. Now, one tiny pronunciation tip here, a very common mistake.
Oh, okay.
Many learners forget the eds on minds. They say, I'm in 2 minds.
Because it's 2 of them.
Exactly. It has to be plural. Make sure you stress it just a little. I'm in 2 minds.
Got it. 2 minds. Okay, so I've said I'm in 2 minds. I've given both sides, but then you have to come to a conclusion, right?
Eventually, yes.
Yeah.
You need to identify the most important factor that will help you decide. And for that, we have a wonderful idiom that boils down to.
It boils down to, like,
Yeah.
cooking.
Precisely like cooking. Imagine you're making a sauce. You have a huge pot full of ingredients and water.
Right.
You put it on the heat, and the water evaporates. It reduces and reduces until all you're left with is the most concentrated, flavorful essence at the bottom.
The main thing.
The most important thing.
Yeah.
The core reason. So you've discussed all the pros and cons of studying abroad, and then you say, but really it boils down to financial stability.
It cooks through all the noise and gets to the main point.
That's the perfect way to put it. You try it. The choice between two university majors.
Okay. There are many things to consider, but the choice boils down to how much money I have.
That's really good. The grammar is perfect. If you wanted to make it sound even smoother, you could say,
Hmm.
it boils down to my budget. Just a little more concise.
Well, it's down to my budget. I like that. It's very direct.
It shows you can synthesize a complex idea into one key factor. Examiners love that.
Okay, so this is for finding the main reason. Are there other ways to kind of conclude an answer?
Yes, there are a couple of very common ones. They're similar, but have a slightly different flavor. The first is at the end of the day.
At the end of the day. I hear this one a lot.
It's very common in native speech. It
Oh.
means ultimately, or when everything is considered. It's often used to state a simple truth after a long discussion.
So it has a feeling of finality.
It does, a kind of realistic summary. For example, we could debate which job is better, but at the end of the day, health matters most.
Okay, I think I get it. So I could say, I could get a high-paying job I hate or a lower-paying one I love. At the end of the day, I want a job I enjoy.
Wonderful. That is a perfect use of the idiom. It shows your personal values and wraps up your argument beautifully.
And you said there was another one similar to this.
Yes. It's a bit stronger, a bit more direct. The bottom line is...
The bottom line, that sounds like business.
It comes from accounting. The bottom line of a report is the final profit or loss. It's the most important number.
So it means like the main point, but in a very strong way.
Exactly. It's very conclusive. It's like you're slamming your fist on the table and saying, this is the undeniable truth.
So it's more forceful than it boils down to.
I'd say so, yes.
Yeah.
It boils down
Thank you,
to,
sir.
is more about analysis.
Yeah.
The bottom line is about conclusion. For example, you could have all the qualifications in the world, but the bottom line is that experience matters.
Okay, so it's quite a powerful phrase to end on.
Very powerful. If you want to sound confident and decisive, it's a great one to use.
This is great. Just with those 5, I feel like I could answer any question.
And you'd sound so much more natural doing it. Shall we move on to another big topic?
Let's do it.
How about describing change and technology? It's almost guaranteed to come up.
Oh, yeah. Social media, smartphones, always.
And what's the first thing everyone says about social media? It have good points and bad points.
Right. Every point has 2 sides.
Ugh, that one is such a cliche. It's so overused. Let's use something much more dynamic and interesting. A double-edged sword.
A double-edged sword. That's a strong image.
It is, isn't it? A normal sword has one sharp edge and one blunt edge, but a double-edged sword can cut you on the forward swing and on the back swing.
So it's powerful, but also dangerous to the person using it?
Exactly. It doesn't just mean pros and cons. It implies that the good parts and the bad parts are fundamentally connected. There's an inherent risk.
Okay, so social media is a double-edged sword, and then I have to explain the 2 edges.
You must. That's the key. Because it connects us with friends, but it can also make us feel more isolated.
You show both sides, the benefit and the danger.
And when you do that, you're not just using vocabulary. You're showing the examiner that you can think in a nuanced way. That's a huge score booster.
I really like that one. It's so much more descriptive.
It is. Now, talking about technology, it moves so fast, doesn't it? It feels impossible to stay informed.
Tell me about it. You buy a new phone, and 6 months later, it's old news.
Well, that feeling of trying not to fall behind is a great phrasal verb, to keep up with.
Keep up with, like in a race.
Exactly like a race.
Yeah.
Someone is running ahead, and you're trying to stay at the same pace. You're trying to keep up. We use it all the time for trends, news, and technology.
So, like, it's hard to keep up with all the new iPhone models.
That's a perfect sentence. Or, I read the news online to keep up with current events.
Is it better than saying stay updated?
A native speaker would almost always say, keep up with. Phrasal verbs, which are verbs plus a preposition like up and with, are a hallmark of natural, fluent English.
Okay, that's a great tip. Keep up with. But sometimes change isn't a gradual race. Sometimes it's one big moment where everything shifts.
Yes, a moment that changes the entire direction of your life or of history. We call that a turning point.
A turning point, like when you're driving and you turn a corner onto a completely new road.
What a fantastic way to visualize it. You were going in one direction, and now you're on a totally different path. You can't go back.
So it's not just a small change. It's a major transformative one.
It has to. For example, graduating from university was a real turning point for me.
And then you'd explain why.
Of course. Before that, I was a student relying on my parents, but after that, I had to find a job and be an independent adult.
So if an examiner asks about an important life event, this is a perfect way.
It's the perfect idiom. It frames the entire story for them.
But, most change isn't like that. It's not one big dramatic moment. Most of the time, it's just slow.
It's a slow, gradual process. And for that, we have a very simple but very effective idiom, step by step.
Step by step. That one almost seems too easy. Is it really an idiom?
It is. And its power is in its simplicity. Many learners try to use a fancy word like gradually or incrementally.
Which can sound a bit textbookish.
Exactly. But a native speaker describing how they learned a new skill would just say, I'm learning English, step by step. It's natural, it's clear, and it shows a patient, methodical approach.
I like that. I am improving my vocabulary step by step.
See, it sounds fantastic. Don't be afraid of the simple idioms. They often show the most fluency.
That's really good advice. So we've got the slow change, step by step. What about the people who are creating the innovators?
The pioneers, the people doing something for the very first time. We say they break new ground.
Break new ground, like with a shovel.
Yes, that's the metaphor. Imagine a field that has never been farmed. The earth is hard and untouched. Before you can plant anything, you have to take your tools and be the first to break the ground.
So it means to do something completely new and original.
Something innovative that no one has done before. Think of scientists or artists. Marie Curie broke new ground with her research on radioactivity.
Could I use it for an artist if I'm asked about a person I admire?
Absolutely. That's a brilliant place to use. I really admire this painter because he broke new ground with his unique style.
It sounds so much better than just saying he was very creative.
Because it implies not just creativity, but also courage and hard work.
Yeah.
Breaking new ground is tough.
And that actually leads us perfectly into the next area, doesn't it?
It certainly does. The difficult stuff. Section 3, problems, challenges, and stress.
Right. The questions nobody likes. Describe a time you failed. Or talk about a difficult project.
People get so uncomfortable with these. But if you have the right vocabulary, you can tell a really compelling story. Let's start with the classic. When you have to do something really difficult and unpleasant, but you know you can't avoid it,
What do?
you bite the bullet.
Bite the bullet. That sounds painful. What's the origin of that?
It's pretty grim, actually. It comes from the days of battlefield surgery, before modern medicine. If a soldier had to have a leg removed, there was no anesthetic.
Oh.
So the surgeon would give him a lead bullet to bite down on.
To stop from screaming.
To stop from screaming or biting off his own tongue from the pain.
Yeah.
He had to just endure it.
That's an intense image. So in everyday life, it means to face a difficult situation with courage.
Exactly. You stop procrastinating, you stop complaining, and you just do the hard thing you've been avoiding.
Okay, so I hated studying for my final exams, but I knew I just had to bite the bullet and get it done.
That is a 100% perfect use of the idiom. Now, I have to warn you about a very common and very funny mistake.
Go on.
Students often mix up bite with eat. They say, I had to eat the bullet.
Eat the bullet. That sounds significantly worse. That sounds fatal.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So please, for the examiner's sake, do not eat the bullet. Just bite it.
Okay, rule number 1, bite, don't swallow. Got it. But what happens if you have to bite the bullet too many times? If you're constantly working under stress?
Then you are at serious risk of our next idiom. You will burn out.
Burn out. This one feels very modern.
It's so relevant to modern life that it's now recognized as a medical condition. But the idiom is simple. Imagine a candle.
Okay.
It burns brightly, it provides light, but if it burns for too long, the wax runs out, the wick turns to ash, and the flame just sputters and dies.
It's completely exhausted. It has nothing left to give.
That is the feeling of burnout.
Yeah.
Total physical, mental, and emotional exhaustion from prolonged stress.
So if I work 12 hours every day with no rest, I will burn out.
Very true sentence. And notice burnout as 2 words is the verb. The noun form is 1 word. Burnout.
So I'm afraid I will burn out versus I am suffering from burnout.
You've got it. It's a subtle but important difference. And burnout is often caused by being trapped in a repeating problem.
Where one bad thing leads to another bad thing, which makes the first thing worse.
And it just goes around and around. We call that a vicious cycle.
Vicious, meaning cruel or violent, a cruel circle.
The classic example is the poverty trap. You can't get a good job because you don't have a good education, but you can't afford a good education because you don't have a good job.
It's a loop you can't escape from.
Exactly. But you can use it for smaller, everyday things, too. For example, I'm so tired in the morning, so I drink a lot of coffee. But the coffee makes it hard for me to sleep at night, so I'm even more tired the next morning.
It's a vicious cycle.
Perfect. It shows you understand complex cause and effect relationships. It's a very analytical phrase.
Okay, so let's say I've messed up. I didn't do something I was supposed to do. I've been avoiding it. What happens when it's finally time to accept the consequences?
Then it's time to face the music.
Face the music. That's an interesting one. Where does it come from?
The origin isn't 100% clear. Some people think it comes from the theater. An actor who is scared has to go on stage and literally face the orchestra, the music.
And the audience.
And the audience. Others think it's military, but the meaning is what's important. You stop hiding from the negative consequences of your actions, and you accept your punishment or criticism.
So it's about taking responsibility.
It is. It implies a certain bravery. I forgot to do my big presentation, so I had to go to my boss and face the music.
You're not making excuses. You're just ready for what's coming.
Exactly. And if you can do that, if you can get through that difficult confrontation or that challenging period,
Then you survive.
then you survive. And the idiom for that is weather the storm.
I like that. It's another strong visual. A ship at sea.
A small ship and a giant hurricane. The waves are enormous. The wind is howling. The captain isn't trying to get to a destination anymore.
Just try not to sink.
That's all that matters. You hold on, you wait for the storm to pass, you endure it. It's a beautiful metaphor for resilience.
So last year was very difficult for my family's business, but we all worked together and we weathered the storm.
That's a fantastic example. It tells a story of hardship, but ends with a feeling of strength and hope. It shows you survived.
And survival brings us to success, the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes. Let's move into something more positive. Session 4, success, motivation, and work. This is where you talk about your ambitions.
And what you need to do to achieve them.
Right. And the first one is about effort. To be truly successful, it's not enough to just do what's required. You have to go the extra mile.
Go the extra mile. I feel like there's a story behind this one, too.
There is a very old one. In the Roman Empire, a soldier had the legal right to force a civilian to carry his heavy equipment for 1 mile.
Wow, really? That was the law.
That was the law.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea behind the phrase is that a truly generous or hardworking person wouldn't just stop after 1 mile. They would volunteer to carry it for a 2nd mile.
They would go the extra mile.
Out of their own goodwill. So today, it means to do more than is expected of you, to exceed expectation.
If I want to get a promotion at my job, I need to go the extra mile.
Perfect. It's about putting in that additional voluntary effort that makes you stand out.
It shows you have a great attitude, not just that you're a hard worker.
Attitude is everything. But hard work isn't always enough. You also need to be clever, to be creative. You need to think outside the box.
Ah, the classic corporate buzzword. Think outside the box.
It is a bit of a cliche, you're right. So you have to be careful with this one.
Should I just avoid it then?
Not necessarily, but you should use it correctly. It comes from a famous puzzle with 9 dots arranged in a square.
Right. And you have to connect them all without lifting your pen.
Yes, and the only way to solve it is to draw your lines outside the area of the 9 dots, outside the imaginary box.
So it literally means to not be confined by the obvious rules or assumptions.
Precisely. So don't just throw it in to sound creative. Use it when you're actually describing an innovative solution to a difficult problem. Everyone was stuck, but then Sarah thought outside the box and came up with a new approach.
Okay, so use it with a specific example.
I got it.
And if you do that, if you go the extra mile and think outside the box, hopefully you'll start to...
We'll start to climb the ladder.
The corporate ladder.
That's the one. It's the standard metaphor for career progression. You started on the bottom rung.
The intern making coffee.
Maybe. Then you take a step up to a junior position, then another step to a manager, and so on, all the way to the top.
My goal is to climb the corporate ladder and become a director in 5 years.
A classic ambition. It clearly communicates your desire for advancement in your career.
And sometimes on that climb, you get a lucky break, a really special chance.
Yes, a rare and valuable chance that you absolutely must not miss. That is a golden opportunity.
Golden because gold is rare and precious.
That's the idea. It's not just a good opportunity, it's a perfect one. It's the kind of chance that might not come again.
Like getting a scholarship to your dream university.
That is a perfect example. This scholarship is a golden opportunity for me to get a world-class education. It shows you recognize the value of the chance you've been given.
And if you do all of this, the hard work, the climbing, taking the opportunity, what happens in the end?
In the end, you get to enjoy the positive results of all your effort. You get to reap the rewards.
Reap the rewards. This one sounds like farming.
It is. Reaping is when you harvest the crops. You planted the seeds months ago. That was your hard work. You tended the fields. You weathered the storms. Now it's harvest time.
You get to collect the benefits.
Exactly. It's the satisfying conclusion to a long period of work. After studying for the IELTS exam for a year, I hope to reap the rewards with a high band score.
It connects the effort directly to the result. I like that.
It shows that you understand that success is earned.
This is all so useful. It covers all the big life topics. What about the smaller stuff? The part 1 questions about daily life.
Good question. Let's move to our final section. Daily life, time, and balance. The kind of casual chat you have at the beginning of the exam.
Correct.
And the number one topic is always time. And the number one idiom about time is probably time flies.
Time flies, as in it goes by really, really fast.
So fast you barely notice it. It's often used when you're enjoying yourself. Time flies when you're having fun.
Or just when you're surprised that a period has ended. I can't believe our class is over already. Time flies.
Exactly. It's a simple, natural way to comment on how quickly time is passing. Very common. Very safe to use.
But with our limited time, we have to be careful how we have to find a good work-life balance.
The great challenge of modern life. And the idiom for that is to strike a balance.
Strike a balance. Strike is an interesting word here. Why not find a balance?
You can say find a balance, but strike is more idiomatic. Think of striking a deal or striking a match. It implies a decisive action to create something. It's about actively creating that equilibrium.
Like a tightrope walker who is constantly making small adjustments to stay upright.
That's a great image for it. You have work on one side and your personal life on the other. You have to actively manage them to strike a balance.
So, as a student, it's difficult to strike a balance between my studies, my part-time job, and my social.
A sentence every student in the world can relate to. It perfectly captures that struggle.
And a big part of that struggle is often money, just having enough to live.
Yes, just having enough money for your basic needs. Rent, food, bills. The idiom for this is to make ends meet.
Make ends meet. What are the ends?
Imagine your income is one end of a piece of string, and your expenses are the other end.
And you're trying to tie them together.
You're trying to make them touch, make them meet. If your expenses are higher than your income, the string is too short. The ends don't meet.
I get it. So if you can make ends meet, it means you have just enough money to survive. You're not saving a lot, but you're okay.
Exactly. When I was a student, I had to work 2 jobs just to make ends meet.
It's a very evocative way to talk about financial struggles without just saying, I was poor.
It is. It describes the situation and the effort involved.
Okay. And for our final idiom, after a long day of striking a balance and making ends meet, when you're exhausted and you're ready to stop working.
You are ready to call it a day.
Call it a day.
It's a lovely, simple way to say, let's stop working now. It's believed to come from when workers didn't have watches, and a foreman would look at the sun and literally call the end of the day.
Like shouting, okay, everyone, that's it for today.
Precisely. So now we use it to signal the end of any activity. We've been studying for 4 hours. I'm getting tired. Let's call it a day.
So we've practiced a whole lot of idioms. Maybe we should call it a day.
That is the perfect way to use it, and a perfect way to transition to our final thoughts.
Wow, that was a lot. It's so incredibly helpful. Before we finish, can we circle back to that warning you gave at the start?
The don't oversalt the soup warning.
Exactly. Why is using idioms correctly so important for a high score, but using them badly is so dangerous?
It comes down to the official IELTS band descriptors. To get a band 7 or higher in vocabulary, the criteria says you must show you can use some less common and idiomatic vocabulary.
Some.
That's the key word.
That is the most important word. Not a lot, not in every sentence, just some. It shows you have a broader vocabulary range. But if you overuse them, it breaks another rule, which is to speak fluently and naturally.
Because no native speaker talks like that.
Nobody. If you say, well, at the end of the day, it's a double-edged sword, so you have to bite the bullet and, it boils down to weathering the storm, it's just nonsense. It's a word salad.
It sounds like you memorized the list.
And the examiner will know you memorized the list, and your score will go down, not up.
So what's a safe rule? Like, how many should I aim to use? A good rule of thumb, is to aim for maybe 1 or 2 well-placed idioms in your entire 2-minute talk in part 2, and maybe one every few questions in part 3.
So they should feel special when they appear.
They should feel like a little surprise, a little piece of spice that adds flavor but doesn't overpower the whole dish. And the most important rule of all,
What's that?
only use an idiom if you are 100% sure it fits the context perfectly. If you have any doubt, just use simple, clear words instead. It's much safer.
Don't force it.
Never, ever force it. The goal is not to show off how many idioms you know. The goal is to communicate clearly and naturally.
So for everyone listening, what's the best way to start practice? It feels a bit overwhelming to remember all of them.
Don't try to remember all of them. That's the path to failure.
Yeah.
My advice is this. Choose just 3.
Only 3.
Just 3 from our conversation today that you really liked. Maybe a double-edged sword, weather the storm, and go the extra mile. And for the next week, your only job is to master those 3. Say them out loud. Record yourself on your phone talking about your day and try to use one.
Oh, listening back to your own voice is painful, but it's so effective.
It's the only way to know if you sound natural. If you stumble or hesitate when you say it, you're not ready to use it in the exam. It needs to roll off your tongue as easily as I think.
So it really does boil down to
At
practice.
the end of the day, that's what it is. You just have to keep at it step by step.
And if you do, you'll reap the reward.
Now you're just showing off.
I couldn't help it. This has been incredibly insightful. Thank you.
It was my pleasure. The key is just not to be afraid. Start small, practice consistently, and you'll get there.
Well, on that note, I think we have definitely done enough for one session.
I agree. Time to call it a day.
Thank you so much for listening to Lucky English for Beginners.
And remember, the best way to improve your speaking is to speak. Practice speaking English every day. Goodbye for now.